There were caucuses all over the state tonight. Ben Carter was at the one in Waterloo, and here is his report.
Welcome to the Iowa Caucus, one of those strange political inventions patterned after the town meeting. At this precinct in Waterloo, 50 people showed up to elect 9 delegates to the county Democratic Convention. Not really much of a turnout. But the caucus gives each citizen a chance to give vocal support to the candidate of his or her choice.
1980 was really the first time that people paid a lot of attention to the Iowa caucuses. They started in 1972. Jimmy Carter used the caucuses as a springboard to victory in 1976, and all of a sudden we became vitally important.
Very important caucus tonight. The people of Iowa could well decide the future of this country.
It's a do-or-die state like so many of the candidates suggest, or is that overrated?
I don't think that it's do or die necessarily.
I think it's fine to start it in Iowa. I think the caucus process probably needs some tweaking because it's a very small body of people. But here's the problem. Then everybody seizes on Iowa and makes that the litmus test for the whole country. You'll remember when Hillary Clinton went into New Hampshire, there were people saying to her, get out of the race, it's over, based on a fraction of the Iowa population having cast their ballots in caucuses. That's wrong. It's not Iowa's fault. But it is the fault, I think, of the political process, and especially this kind of frenzied media that we have.
It's very different now because Iowa is so important to the national process, and now you have all these cable operations who have to feed the beast. They have to put material on the air, and so they get the prime positions.
You're not anybody in national politics unless you've, quote, done Iowa and done New Hampshire.
These three birds all said they would not vote for me on caucus night.
The first big change that happened in the caucus is people start showing up, 4 years in advance of the next election. And the second is that they're much more intense early.
But tonight, I love Iowa a whole lot.
So we say, what are the differences? Candidates start earlier. It's getting more and more expensive, unfortunately. We're dealing with an experienced media who appreciates our process, and we're finding veteran staffers to come in on behalf of these presidential candidates who understand the caucus process.
No, the big winner in all of this? State of Iowa and the economy out here.
Hopefully they'll be able to keep that prominence, but everybody comes in now. It brings in, as much as a political event it has become for Iowa, it is also an economic benefactor.
Bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better in the sense that they understand the caucus, that they understand the role that Iowa plays, that they respect us because we are an experienced and informed electorate.
Take a look around the Polk County Convention Center and you'll see a media crush. 2,500 media members are credentialed to report who Iowans think should be president.
It used to be that a station like KWWL would own the Iowa caucuses, and those politicians were ours, and it was our local story. But the most recent election cycle shows us that all of the local events have been trumped by national coverage.
Well, though Bill Bradley trails Al Gore by a whopping 28 points in the final poll right before the caucuses, Bradley did get some fairly good news today when the state's largest newspaper, the Des Moines Register, endorsed Bradley over Vice President Al Gore. The Register also endorsing George W. Bush. Now, Bradley today was still in Cedar Rapids when he appeared on the CBS News program Face the Nation.
It is difficult to compete with all these other news outlets. That's why it's really important to keep it local, 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 so that you have a direct impact with the people who live in your own backyard. A professor of political science at the University of Iowa, he joins us again tonight with Lori Jewett. Lori?
Thanks, Ron.
When CNN sponsored the first presidential debate, literally 19 months before the general election, you knew that the tide had shifted, and it's not the same coverage of the caucuses as it used to be.
You can't really compete with a CNN or an NBC on their level, but you can certainly beat them in your own backyard.
I think any Iowan that's interested in the political process can see every candidate that they are interested in seeing before they caucus.
Let's leave it up to the good people of Iowa to decide.